I came here today to hear Dr. Kim, the president of the World Bank, to hear his perspectives on world poverty and really how he hopes to change that.
It seems like a monumental moment where we could really take steps forward, and I'm really interested to hear what he has to say.
World Bank President Jim Yong Kim.
We're in an auspicious moment in history when the successes of past decades and an increasingly favorable economic outlook combine to give developing countries a chance, for the first time ever, to end extreme poverty within a generation. Our duty now must be to ensure that these favorable circumstances are matched with clarity of purpose and resolute action to realize this historic opportunity. A substantial and growing share of poor people live in fragile or conflict-affected states, where both the need for and the obstacles to development tend to be the greatest. Fragile states must be front and center in any agenda to end extreme poverty. I want to be clear. I have worked in fragile and conflict-affected states for most of my adult life, and I will continue to strengthen the World Bank Group's work in these countries. This will be one of my very top priorities. The first goal is to end extreme poverty by 2030. With the end of extreme poverty within our grasp, we want to set an aggressive timeline to focus our efforts and maintain a sense of urgency. But we know that ending poverty is not enough. We must also work to boost the incomes of the poorest 40% of the population in each country. The World Bank Group will be there to help countries end poverty and boost shared prosperity in at least 4 ways. First, we'll use these goals to help us choose among competing priorities as we identify which projects we can have the greatest impact. Second, we will closely monitor and observe progress towards these goals of ending poverty and boosting shared prosperity, and we'll report annually on what's been achieved and where gaps remain. Third, we'll use our convening and advocacy power to continually remind policymakers and the international community what it will take to realize these goals. Finally, we'll work with our partners to share knowledge on solutions to end poverty and promote shared prosperity. Increasingly, countries are looking to the World Bank Group for support in tackling delivery challenges. They tell us they have record numbers of children in school, but tests show that far too many can't read or write by the 5th grade. They tell us plans for new sanitation plants or new roads or new bridges have been approved, but years later, they're still not completed. These are delivery failures, and for many countries, they're the greatest obstacle to development progress. That's why we're working with countries and partners to develop what we're calling a science of delivery for development. In advancing the emerging field of delivery science, we will help our partners learn from one another and maximize the impact of every dollar spent to end poverty and boost shared prosperity. If we act today, if we work relentlessly toward these goals of ending extreme poverty and boosting shared prosperity, we have the opportunity to create a world for our children, which is defined not by stark inequities, but by soaring opportunities. A sustainable world where all households have access to clean energy. A world where everyone has enough to eat. A world where no one dies from preventable diseases. A world free of poverty. Thank you very much.
Listening to someone who, has done so much for the world and so much for public health, I think it just motivates us.